Right. Hi, everybody. It's me, Dave Juskow. I'm here with Mike Suarez, and it's a Tuesday and a brand new year, January 3rd, 6 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, where we bring you the Comedy Cellar Nightly Show, which is only once a week. And that is the hilarity. We're thinking about a name change, but right now it's the Comedy Cellar Nightly Show. And again, I am Dave Juskow, and we do this once a week to promote the wonderful Comedy Cellar that is downtown in the West Village, where I was there on New Year's Eve, and it was a very extremely festive time. And it's always a festive time at the Comedy Cellar. And it's always a festive time at the Comedy Cellar in Las Vegas. Why wouldn't it be? The Comedy Cellar is the place to be. If for some reason you were in New York City tonight and you could go to the Comedy Cellar, you could see people like Mike Vecchione, who we haven't seen on the show for a while, but he's a friend of the show, and Greer Barnes, who I saw on New Year's Eve, who I hadn't seen in such a long time. Greer looks great, and he is a brilliant comedian. And that's just some of the people you could see. It is I don't know how many shows they have, 10 a night. They've got 4 rooms. You can't go wrong. And you got to make a reservation because every show sells out, because that's how good it is there. Comedy Cellar down on McDougal Street here in the West Village. Oh, Marcy. Happy birthday, Marcy. Mike, it was Marcy's birthday yesterday.
Oh, happy birthday, Marcy.
We missed you too. A week late, we missed you too. Nice to see you. Oh, he's got a week late. He's got the Back to the Future logo. I like that. Anonymous, how are you? Oh, don't put her age in there. But I know she said it, but I didn't. I always think of Marcy as very young. So Marcy's the best. I'm positive she had a good time. I think Marcy, besides the rest of her family, Marcy's has a good time everywhere she goes. Hey, you know what I'm talking about. Hi, Angela. That came out the wrong way, but you all know what I mean. And yes, I hope everybody had a wonderful new. Mike, what did you do on New Year's? I didn't ask you.
Oh, there was a comedian who had invited some comics to his family's basically New Year's barbecue.
That's nice.
Yeah, that's all I did.
Like you could have it outside?
Yeah, it was just in their backyard.
Well, I'm confused because Texas weather is that nice during January?
Oh yeah, it was like high 60s. I mean, last week was super cold, and yesterday, this week's been like 60s, 70s.
Is that right? I didn't realize. I mean, I knew it was hot in Texas, but I wasn't sure. I have only been there twice, maybe once. I went to Dallas, and I don't remember whether it was cold or hot. Catalina from Chile. Nice to see you. Great to see everybody. Yes, we're all excited about Marcy. Marcy's the coolest. So I went to the Comedy Cellar for New Year's Eve, and it was a really fun time. Noam was playing. He was, and they had a couple of singers like myself for some reason. Meanwhile, I was so embarrassed because those other singers they had were unbelievable, and I'm pretty sure professional. So a week late, yes, you can stay over and play Golden. Thank you, because no one ever wants to play Golden Tee. Plus, I have that other game. I still haven't put together because I'm still a little nervous. I might have to leave the apartment. I don't know what's going to happen, but it's a new year. I'm not thinking about it. Everything's going to be fine. They don't kick white people out of their places, do they? That's not a thing, right? Hello. Thank you. I'm here all week. So yeah, I'd like to actually know what everybody did for that. Well, actually, we'd probably like to know what Marcy did for her birthday. Marcy, if you want to come on today and talk about what you did for your birthday. Well, there we go. I play pool with my buddies. Well, see, as we all know, Marcy sounds like the coolest person there is. But what'd you do for New Year's? I went out to eat and I played pool with my buddies. Oh, well, that's pretty good. It'd be funny if it was the same thing. Yeah, pretty uncool, Catalina. Catalina Valdebian. What? There was one. Yeah, she was at a Christmas concert. I saw the picture. It was ridiculous. It was embarrassing for everybody. So a couple of things I wanted to talk about today. Obviously, we usually talk about football on the show. And as you might or not may or may not know, I'm sure Catalina doesn't know, but last night there was a huge to-do in the football world. There was a huge game, Marcy knows, and a bummer to happen on her birthday because it was a huge Bengals game, and it looked like they were really going to stick it to the Bills. And then this guy, DeMar Hamilton, almost died, which really fucked up, and they just stopped the game. Aunt Judy will be here soon, I think. I heard her today. So it's so weird, uh, this thing because it was really messed up. They stopped the game. It's unprecedented. All the players were crying, and they didn't start it again. But the thing is that you know people were angry when they were asking when are they going to replay it, or you ask any other question like it's not about that today. It's about this guy. It's not about football today. You see, but the thing is, it is because you guys have put us in a situation. I'm talking about the NFL where you have completely uh, bombarded us with gambling and fantasy and all this stuff and every commercial. So how dare you tell us all of a sudden it's about this human being when you have just really been two-faced about making sure everybody signs up to gamble on the game because that's where the action really is. I don't know. Maybe I might be off. I mean, certainly. Oh, Andrew, I thought you said I thought there was new news that he died. He was dead. Yeah, well, I know about that. That happened anyway. So at a gas table. I'm just saying. And if you can't talk about this, like this, there was a guy on sports radio yesterday, like, look, we have to mention we're all worried about our fantasy pool too, because it fixed. But how can you not think about that? What are we, assholes? You shove it in our faces every week. And how dare you say if you have a gambling problem, call. Like you give a shit. So, I feel horrible for that guy. Obviously, we all want him to pull through, but, it affects all these things that we have to talk about. It right. No one cares about head conditions. You don't seem to give a shit about that until it actually happens on the field where the players are crying. Then finally somebody took a stand. I don't know what's going to happen with the game. I'm curious. I run a football pool. Mike's in it. Aunt Judy's in it. I don't know how this game is being scored. I'm not doing the picks today because I don't know what's happening. I really want to call up, not the like one of those sports, things, and just say, hi Aunt Judy, and just say how dare you? How dare you tell us we can't think about football right now? Because again, you just shove it in it's the two-facedness that drives me crazy. How many years did they say we can't talk about the spreads? We can't talk about the spreads, and now, oh my God, what are we gambling on? The gambling places didn't know what to do. Do we give the money back? Is the game over? Are we starting from 5 minutes in? What's happening? Everybody got their money back yesterday. There's so many things you gamble on. It's just so messed up. It's so messed up. And it drives me nuts. Obviously, I like gambling. I got a gambling problem. I've always had one. And now it's a little better, but I feel bad. I don't know if you read my article in AARP magazine about gambling and how we're all screwed because now there's going to be these kids. When I was 18, I just couldn't wait to have my own bookie. And now the easiness of gamble, it was very difficult to gamble and you got in trouble. And if you lost, you got beaten up. And now you just lose your bank account and then they're like, oh, that's it. I mean, this could ruin people for years to come. I've already told you, if you listen to my podcast, Just Got in the City, about that girl, Kate, who, I mean, what a problem. Mike, I don't even know whether I know I told you about her hitting me in the balls, but kicking me in the balls. But I don't know whether I told you the other part where she was sitting there watching the game. And it wasn't Monday Night Football. I said, I'm not going to go out with her on Monday night. I'm going to go out on a Wednesday. And she was so involved with all these basketball games and so many games, like 20 games, that I got up and I said, I'm going to get out of here. And she goes, sit the fuck down. And like pushed me down like Robert De Niro in Silver Linings Playbook, which is what we were talking about beforehand, where he's like, you're ruining the juju. You got to hold the remote and the handkerchief in the same hands. I mean, she was like, it was sick. And to see somebody who's off her rocker as it is anyway, pretty much, to go into down this rabbit hole, it's bad. And that's just one person we know of. I can't even imagine what's happening to a bunch of kids today who can obviously sign up at 15. Well, they say you have to be 18, but you know how it is.
Yeah.
Who knows what's happening? And maybe they have friends that help. I don't know. It wasn't easy to find a bookie, and it wasn't fun. And like I said, you would get beaten up, but it seemed like the danger involved would make only true degenerates. Now it's just so easy, and betting on all these things is worse. There's one thing about putting $50 on a game, but there's another things about putting, tens and 20s and 30s and 40s just on little things. Who's going to score a touchdown? How many yards is somebody going to go? I don't know. Do you know what I mean, Mike?
I think so.
I'm just worried about the next generation in the sense of gambling.
Oh yeah,
It's just so easy. That's all I'm saying. And these places, DraftKings and places like this where they're just, if you have a gambling problem, and then there's a guy on the fan, this horrible guy, Boomer. No, not Boomer. Carton. What's his name? Carton. He went to jail for a while. Craig Carton.
Uh-huh.
And he had a gambling problem, and then he went to jail because he was running a Ponzi scheme or something. And now he's back, and he's got a show on Saturday mornings at 9:30 called My Name is Craig. But meanwhile, he is advertising for DraftKings on a daily basis on his 4-hour show. This is not right. Part of his jail time was to do this half hour. If you have a gambling problem, we can talk about it in a phone call. It's completely unacceptable. What's Panettone? It's like Panettone, but Chilean. Yeah, what is that, Catalina? What's happening?
Panettone.
Is it a
They're
dish?
talking about making drinks.
Oh. Catalina said it's basically milk, coffee, whiskey, cinnamon. Oh, that sounds delicious. Catalina.
Oh, Panettone is a type of bread dessert.
Oh, okay. Catalina made. Oh, that's right. She made chocolate chip cookies on Christmas. I saw a picture. So I had to go to the store and make chocolate chip cookies. I didn't make them. I just used the play. What's the little doughboy you hit in the stomach with the belly button? What's that called?
Pillsbury?
This is the hook for you, Jessica. Not the porn available 20 zone or the instant gratification we've created. What does that mean? Oh, that does not look good because it's a fruitcake, and I think those are horrible. But I think if there's any other thing it still looks delicious, but fruitcakes are gross. Wait, what am I missing? That it's my hook. The gambling thing? I don't know. Anyway, also another guy that's in the hospital for some reason is Jeremy Renner.
Yeah.
What the fuck? He got in. Oh, gambling outrage. Thank you, Angela. Well, like I said, I wrote an article about it, and I'd like to continue writing about it. But how can I have a gambling outrage when I gamble? But I guess those are the kind of people. It's like I said on my podcast. I had a friend who was doing so much cocaine. I had to tell him while we were doing it, you got to stop. You just, I don't know. It's like sometimes when you see somebody that's worse off than you got to say something and hope for the best. But people can only listen when they're ready to listen. Jeremy Renner got into a snow plowing incident. I mean, it's just a snow plowing incident. How does that happen? He's inside. He has one of those big snow plows in Lake Tahoe in Nevada. And it's just weird because I said, what did he run himself over? And that's exactly what happened. He ran over himself. There's this girl I met. She's a comedian. Her name is Rachel Lenahan. She actually came to visit us when Attell and I were working at Caroline's the other day. And she actually, I should probably have her on the show because she has a terrific YouTube thing that's not out for everybody. She's a really good artist. Made this great caricature of John Ritter and Richard Klein that we met in Richard Klein's class. And she's got this great YouTube thing, which I'd love to share with you. Maybe we'll show it. I think it could be really big, where she draws and then tells a story while she's drawing, kind of like Bob Ross used to. Isn't that his name?
Yeah.
The painter.
Mm-hmm.
But she makes it funny. So she's drawing and telling a story about one of her teachers who ran over her own foot with her car while she was in the car. And that's the first thing I thought of when I heard about Jeremy Renner. I'm like, what a fucking idiot. How do you run yourself over with a snowplow? How could you possibly do that? This is a guy that shouldn't be having a snowplow. He doesn't know what he's doing.
Well, he was clearing driveways and helping stranded motorists. So he was trying to help the neighborhood.
Yeah, I know, but you got to be more careful. And you're running a very powerful vehicle, and you have to be smart. So we have, two. Well, we have a real athlete and a fake superhero, all in trouble. So, I mean, Jeremy Renner seems like a nice guy, so I guess we'll be out for him too. It's always these nice. I mean, I don't know Jeremy Renner. He just seems like a good guy, and the way I usually look at it, besides the people like Sean Penn that we know about and stuff that are good actors and they get work anyway, like Ed Norton, who tends to be problematic, but people like him and his acting. Most actors don't make it this far unless you're an okay person to hang out with. Like, we know Christian Bale is a major douchebag, but he's such a good actor, people just keep giving him work. Or Daniel Day-Lewis, people like that. But then there's the people that, just like a Jeremy Renner who's like been around a long time, probably because he's a decent guy. I don't think Scarlett Johansson's that great an actress, but she's a terrific person. People probably just like her hanging around, It's like the way people hire me for opening for them. They're like, well, he's not a good comic, but I like to hang. So, and it always seems like it's the good people that keep getting messed up. It's never the douchebags that have problem. What is that about? Anyway, victim blaming today. Yeah, listen, I don't care about accidents. I've had my share, so and I always wonder why. That's the question. What makes it happen like that? Hi, Liz from Canada. Happy New Year. Do you celebrate New Year in Canada? Thank you. I was wondering about that because something happened in Paris today, and I was just wondering if they were celebrating it. I know a week late. I'm sorry. You're right. I am a little victim blaming today. I don't know. It's like, as everybody knows, or maybe you don't know, I fell on a glass table. Actually, we're coming up on my 20-year anniversary, falling on the glass table and dying. And I know accidents happen, and they do seem to happen to good people. But I also have to mock it. Dave. What?
Only the good die young.
Yeah, that's right. And the thing is, how can I not mock it? Because it happened to me. Who the fuck sits on a glass table and almost dies? Or did die and came back. You know what I'm saying? And believe me, everybody gave me shit for that. And if I had died, it would have been really embarrassing to go that way. There's plenty of other hilarious ways to go. I'm sure that'll happen to me at some point. But for right now, yeah. Oh, no, I'm not dying. I told you, I'm going to live to be like 130, but poor. That's my punishment for something I did in a past life. But I really like to hear what other people did over the new year. Does anybody have anything they want to share? Because I'm just curious. Like I said, I wasn't sure if I was going to go to the cellar, but the owner, Gnome, invited me, which was, don't joke with what?
Oh, dying.
I always joke about dying.
But she's just worried about you. She cares.
Yeah, well, where was she 20 years ago? Oh, that's right. She wasn't born.
Yeah. But still worried about you somehow.
Isn't that nice? Well, thank God I have some very nice friends. Oh, yeah, you had friends over and had wine and cheese. That was for New Year's. See, that sounds like a perfect New Year's. I don't have any friends. I don't have any, but, we live in New York, so nobody has a house party, which I think I'd prefer. I don't even know anymore. All I know is I'm just like, when is it going to be midnight? Let me get the hell out of here. Oh, Catalina was one. Yay. Yeah, it's funny. I was telling somebody at the office today, in 86, when it turned to 87, way before most of you were born, I was working at a oh, that sounds nice, anonymous. That's what I'm talking about, like a friend's house party or something. Oh, you saw me singing, Liz? Yeah, I was singing. They let me sing some Billy Joel at the Cellar. No one was like, no one was like, "Hey, do you want to sing Summer Highland Falls?" And I'm like, "Sure." Then we practiced a little bit and we sang. I just obviously I know the words, but I was nervous and I had already started drinking. So I hate that I keep looking at my phone, but I didn't want to mix it up. You know what I mean? And I was so afraid, Mike, to drink. Like I was getting really nervous. Is that true?
Oh, on Bobby's Patreon, we had an early like Zoom with the Patreon
Really?
members. Yeah, and he's in England, so it's like we did his midnight with him.
Oh, I sang Summer Highland Falls, anonymous, um, and it came out okay. It was all right. It's not great. Like I said, I was drinking, and I don't know, but
Oh, what's the video you wanted me to play? I have it. It's only 4 seconds.
oh, it was just Marina put it together. I might be wearing the same shirt, so sorry.
Can I play it?
Yeah, please. That was it. That was the instrumental part, so I did a little dance.
Yeah, it was great.
Well, I looked happy, but it's all a ruse, Catalina. You see what I'm saying? I'm just like trying to get through New Year's, you know? I mean, everybody is just trying to get through New Year's. I mean, a guy like me, if you listen to Just Get Out of the City, you know I go out during the week and party. So New Year's, fuck New Year's. Amateur night, man. Thank you, Liz. That's very nice. I wasn't sure. I think I could sound better. And of course, any of you who have heard the new opening theme for Just Get Out of the City, Mike, it's so stupid. I did it to A View to a Kill. Just cow in the city. I'm pretty sure everybody's going to be really annoyed by the third week, but maybe we'll come up with something else. But yeah, you're pretending to be happy, and I mean, we are happy, you know. But it's like there was I got into an altercation with that girl that threw scones at me over the summer, and then I was very upset by that. But I don't know. I mean, I wasn't unhappy. I just really I don't know what I was doing. I was sitting by myself at the table, not at the comics table, but at the Gnome's big table for the family. You know, it's his family and stuff. I didn't really know anybody. I was still honored to be invited, and the food was excellent. He ordered from Il Molino, which is a really expensive Italian restaurant here in the city.
Mm-hmm.
And but I didn't know anybody at my table, and I mean, I know the comics and everything, but they were somewhere else, and I don't know. I just wanted it to be over, and I'm just still glad I did something. And yeah, anonymous. It was she's been Il Molino before. It's really terrific.
Yeah, never.
But so yeah, I left early. Then I went back to a bar, and then I guess I walked home like around 2 o'clock, and it's funny, walking home in the city now. And I walked home on Thursday night really late, about 4 a.m, and nobody was around. But I've been walking home at night for years, but it's been getting a little scarier lately because you've been hearing, since COVID, things have been a little messed up, and maybe I'm just more aware of it now. It's, just random attacks, things like that just didn't used to happen years ago. Maybe they did. Maybe we've just all been naive. Maybe we just hear about it more because news is easier to get. But on New Year's Eve, I went home like around 2 a.m, and everything was closed already, which is ridiculous. All these bars, Mike, like by Union Square, were already closed at 2 a.m. That's not a normal New Year's in New York City.
Yeah,
but everybody was out. And the funny thing is, I'm going to talk about this on the podcast, of course, that the best part about it was you see people obviously hooking up and making out, and then you see the opposite, everybody crying and breaking up. It was really a full, just walking up University Place, I think I saw everything you need to see. I saw people that had to work that night crying because they had to work and something went wrong outside. And then I saw people that had to work that were wasted. And then I saw just regular revelers. Yeah, it was a Saturday too. That's true. But you really got to see it all. And then I walked through Union Square Park, and everybody just seemed pretty. The weather was nice, and it wasn't raining, so it wasn't a horrible walk. But there was I don't know. You get a little nervous sometimes because so many drunk people. I mean, I know that's normal on a Saturday night, but New Year's you usually go that extra mile. And I tried to get drunk really hard, and I just couldn't do it. I don't know what happened the last 2 times I've tried. I haven't been as drunk as I'd like to get. But then because I knew I was going to sing, I kind of like was putting it in my head, don't get that drunk. Take it easy.
Yeah.
But it's impossible not to drink on New Year's, you know? So I looked up what would help my voice because I know liquor isn't good, and I tend to lose my voice. And I was screaming at the table talking to people, and I was getting really worried. Yeah, exactly. You heard about that machete in Times Square, those poor police officers. That was not cool. And that's the kind of shit that's been happening. People are walking around with machetes in the city.
Yeah.
That's not unnormal. And that's not, oh my God, Catalina, I hear you. I don't know what she's talking about.
She was singing.
Oh, Bad Bunny is that rapper, right?
Yeah.
No, liquor's no good for your voice, Aunt Judy, if you're going to sing. So I'm looking up what liquor is best. Because I know sometimes Grand Marnier
Yeah.
is sometimes good for your voice. Like that's not a brandy. What is that? A cognac. But I looked it up and they said sometimes vodka and soda could be better than what I was drinking, which was scotch. So I just drank that with some bitters in it and it seemed to be okay. But I was worried. Plus, I have sinus problems. I don't know. It's a whole thing. But I'm just glad it's over and now we can move on and concentrate. Yes, it was, Angela. It was a Christmas present from Dave Attell. I could show you what it is, but you're not allowed to show that on YouTube. It was old Wii magazines from the 80s and 70s. OUI. And he got me one. He got me a couple as a joke, but one of them actually had a very old Howard Stern interview in it. So now I can actually say, well, I'm just keeping it for the interview. Plus, these magazines were it's hard to look at now because the girls are pretty, but it was before we knew about grooming and things like that. So, yeah, I know. I remember well, I'll tell you, Liz, the reason why I remember about Wii, because that was not a magazine that I used to get, is that I used to work at a bank years ago with the president of the bank on the 4th floor of the Chemical Bank building. This is in the 80s. And there was a guy, one of the executive vice presidents, who we were moving floors. I know what it was. I think we worked on the 14th and we were all moving to the 4th floor to be closer to the president. Why I was working for the president, this is when I met Attell. It was really funny. I would have to wear a jacket and tie every day. And we both would. Me and Attell, he was working at the Discovery Channel, and I was working for the president of the bank. I mean, his name was Walter Shipley. I remember it. It was crazy that I was working for the president, you know? It's just weird. And and we were moving floors that day, and this guy was on vacation, and he goes, Dave, I remember his name too, but I won't say it. I don't know what happened to him. And he asked me, he's like, Dave, I need you to do me a favor. I need you to take some stuff out of my desk. They're really important papers. They're in an envelope, and don't look inside because it's sensitive material. And of course, I looked inside, and it's 2 Wii magazines. Wii is the magazine that Back to the Future was doing a parody of Oh La La in the movie. Do you mean in Back to the Future Part 2? Yeah, so the cat left. The litter box is behind me. That's why that garbage bag is there. I still haven't emptied it out. I was going to let my cleaning lady do it. No, I'm kidding. I'm going to do it. But I don't know why. I got the cat was taken from me on Wednesday before I knew about it. Again, I talk about this in the podcast. And I was very, very upset about it. Like very upset that my sister took it without me. Well, she called me while I was at work and just said, we're taking the cat back. So I didn't get to say goodbye, and I was very upset about it. But the fact of the matter is, when I was at Caroline's on Thursday, somebody said, you should foster a cat. And I said, I got too attached to this cat in 10 days where I was in tears. How am I going to foster a cat? That's the worst idea. So, although I would kill to have a cat here again, I have to at least be financially stable again to take care of a cat. Sometimes I don't know if I can afford toothpaste, so I want to make sure that I can take care of myself before I get a cat again. And quite frankly, I wouldn't mind, living with somebody again to take care of the cat because I can't stand leaving the cat. Felt bad leaving the door again. I feel horrible. Plus, if you again heard my podcast last week, there was an explosion outside where this car blew up, and I thought we were going to have to evacuate the building, and I wasn't sure what to do with the cats. We can do picks for teams except for the Bengals and Bills, though, right? Now, a week later, I'm not going to do the picks because I don't know what's happening, so I'm just not this week. We'll go to the playoffs. We're continuing to make the picks. I just asked a week late if you want to submit your picks for this week. That'll be fine. I usually just ask Marcy and Nick and Mike. We just, I've made the picks for this week and we have them, and I, put them in so we're keeping track. But I just didn't feel like doing it this week. This whole football thing is a mess. It seemed like a bad plan. But we'll be doing the picks again. No, we're not going to do Golden Globes. We'll definitely do the Oscars. Golden Globes can suck it. I don't know. Yeah, no picks today. Sorry, guys. It just didn't seem right, and I don't know what's going on, and I couldn't tally the scores yet. I didn't know what was going to happen, what the NFL had planned. So it's just the last stupid week. But then we'll definitely do the playoffs, and we'll have everything updated. So sorry about that. Let me know I have a family nearby you can take care of your cat. Oh, really? A week late, you live in the city? I didn't know that.
No, he has family. He lives in Florida.
He lives where?
Thought he lived in Florida.
Oh, Florida. Oh, but he has family here. I see.
Yeah.
Yes, I know, Catalina. We know you don't understand, but it's fun to make the picks anyway, right? I think. All right. Why don't we look at the slides for this week? Oh, he lives in Tampa with Cammy. Where's Cammy?
I don't know.
All right. I'm going to share my screen, and we will have some fun. Our first picks of the year. I got it up, Mike. Let's do it. Let's have some laughs, shall we? Here are this week's picks. This is in Buffalo, New York. Buffalo. And it's, I told you this car exploded right by my house, and it was the coldest day of the year, and I felt horrible for these firefighters, but it's so weird when there's a fire and there's 20 feet of snow and you're saying, well, how can there be a fire? It's just, of course, there can be a fire inside, but you're like thinking to yourself, it's too cold. How can a fire even start? And how is it not automatically put out by just all the snow that's there? I know it's just in your head. You can't think of it. But I mean, how about these guys, right? How do you even get to somebody? If you have a fire and that feet of snow, prepare to die. I mean, right, Mike? They couldn't get to so many people who were just stuck in their cars.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know how they got around there.
That lady died in her car.
Yeah, I heard about that. But what are you going to do? Normally, I would say, why are you going out in your car? But in this case, she was a nurse coming back from work. But the other thing is you should probably stay at the hospital. I mean, it was pretty bad out there. This is the kind of snow you don't drive in, and you take the warning seriously. But the other thing was, I don't think they made a mandatory get off the roads thing until 4 hours later. Poor lady. Yeah. I feel horrible about that. And this happened right by Buffalo in Ontario on the other side, near the water. It's called Crystal Beach, and that's just all ice. It looks like a Christmas that somebody designed it. Can you imagine? You can't even get out of that house. It looks great, though. It looks like fun to walk around. It just would suck if it's your own house, though, I guess, but it is pretty. And, that's why this is the best part about snow. It's so much fun to watch a game in the snow unless you didn't realize it was snowing and you bet the over. That is the worst. The best part about this picture is that they're playing the Miami Dolphins. And you know that, how is Miami Dolphins how are they going to How are they playing? How are they in the same division as Buffalo? You know, it's like, what a bummer. I mean, how are the Miami Dolphins going to go up and play in this kind of weather when you're used to playing in 90-degree heat? You know, but
Wow.
it sure is a fun game to watch when you are cozy at home. Not so much when you're at the game. I've been to a lot of snow games, and they're a lot of fun, but then you have to figure out how you're going to get home. That's always an issue. Speaking of the opposite of that, is this Arab horse racing. It just looks so nice and clean from the things I'm used to, which is the dog track, which is just a dump. Look at the fucking difference. Look how beautiful dunes of sand, and then just the fucking that's the horse track. Wait, did I get it wrong? I like this picture because I guess I thought I had another picture of the dog track, but I like this picture because this is in Ireland, and they just went away, and that horse is like, oh shucks.
No.
No. This is exactly what I pictured him saying when he's kissing it, right? He's even smiling, the horse. What's better to get out of trouble when Bugs Bunny would dress up like a woman and flirt with a guy? That cartoon had it all. In fact, I'll talk more about it later. So, because all these, I actually don't. All these people are trying to come over from Mexico, or, as you know, or from Venezuela or whatever, and they're trying to go over the border. This is in Arizona. The governor's like, well, nobody built a wall yet, so I'm going to put a bunch of shipping containers there. And it's fascinating. Look how far down it goes. It looks like the Wizard of Oz set, where the Emerald City is just clearly a painting, but you didn't notice in 1934. And that's what they're doing now. They're putting shipping containers. And I say all those guys should get to know this guy, Armand Duplantis. Does anybody know who he is?
I don't.
Well, he's an athlete, and he's the best in the world. And he's an Olympic champion. And what he does is pole vault. How are you? Hey-o!
I thought you were going to pull up Wile E. Coyote.
Nope. We need a pole vaulter like this guy. Look at him. He made it over 20 feet, 6.2 meters. The containers are only 8, which means he could probably take somebody with him, carry them in their arms while he's pole vaulting. Because if you can make 20 feet, he can definitely make, 10 feet, make a clear jump over the shipping containers. I say we give it a try. These are some congressional staff people taking Trump's tax returns. They're wheeling them somewhere, right? So I'm looking at this girl, and I'm like, what is she wearing? Look at these shoes. What the hell is that? You don't see women doing this kind of work a lot. And she just immediately, I couldn't help but to think of Clarice Starling and Hannibal Lecter commenting on her cheap shoes. First thing I thought about, because that's who she is here. She might be Clarice Starling. We don't know. Is that the FBI? And she's wearing the cheap shoes. Your good bag and your cheap shoes are just a robe. And look at their cheap shoes right there when she goes under that storage container. That's the funniest part in the movie. If anything happens to me, can you call my boss? Hi, Jenny Cohn Sanchez. Nice to have you again. Which one's a pilgrim? This one? No.
Oh, Buckles.
I'm having an old friend for dinner. That's the best. That guy was such a dick. Does anybody ever see the iCarly episode where they did a Silence of the Lambs? Like they had the guy, Professor Chilton from the Institute, in the actual iCarly. Are you sure it's not a comedy? Because, a week late, it might be because they have that guy from the Blues Brothers in it. You're going to look pretty funny with no fucking teeth.
Originally, it had a lot of like slide whistles in the soundtrack. So
I knew it. I knew they changed it in post. This is a kid at the Pele Museum in Brazil. I mean, the fact that there is a Pele Museum just goes to show that he was the shit. I knew this because I actually saw him play with the New York Cosmos in the 70s at the Meadowlands. I don't know how that worked. I don't know who I went with. I still can't believe it. But it was so popular because of him. We all actually went to go to see soccer in the 70s. I mean, and then as soon as he retired, it was never heard of again. Like he was so popular worldwide.
yeah,
And
wasn't
like
he the
Beckham
first
could have done
athlete
that.
to have
What?
a video game?
Say again?
Wasn't he the first athlete to have a video game?
You might be right. But I mean, this guy was so huge because, as you know, soccer doesn't work here. And this guy made it almost work. And if he had come maybe at a little younger age, who knows what this would have been like. Beckham, same thing. If he had come a little bit not past his prime, soccer could have been bigger. Anonymous, my cousin's dog named their dog Pele. Well, I know he was still known in the soccer world. What are you talking about, Catalina? I mean, but the Cosmos, I knew their cheerleaders. Boy, those are some really great looking lady. These were the Cosmo cheerleaders. I bring them up because my sister had. Well, I know her too, but my sister had a friend. I think she's right there in the middle. She was a Cosmos cheerleader. I think this is her. Her name was Miss Linda, and she was a ballet teacher. And she made a fortune. You know how those ballet teachers like just make so much money and you don't even realize it until you realize it? Ballet is such a scam for little girls, not for some, but for most, it's a scam. And they charge you up the wazoo for costumes. They make everybody come to the things where they charge money for tickets for the what do you call it? The
Recitals.
Right, the recitals. That's the exact word I was looking for. And then they're like, well, you need to also take tap and jazz, and they milk your parents' money. And this woman was a genius, and she did that all. I mean, it's all legal, and it doesn't matter. It's just like she was a brilliant. And then she ended up marrying like a really rich guy too, and now they live in this awesome place, I think, in Florida.
And that's what Andrew Schultz's parents did.
Is that right?
Yeah.
His parents, because that's so funny. When I was taking ballet and tap, I wish I was kidding, and musical comedy class, we used to go to this lady, Vern Fowler, and her husband was the piano player. So they totally worked together and built this empire where she had 2 locations, and then she combined it like Caroline's into a big location. Oh, she was making a fortune. Yeah, I know, Anonymous, but you're a girl. It was odd. It was awkward for me to take. I was the only boy in the class. Well, there was one other kid, but I think he ended up like at the Met. Like he was really good, probably gay, and I was sitting there going like, wearing these. I wouldn't wear the leotards, and I would sit in these checkered pants. I gotta have a picture somewhere, and I was just like, they're like, David, are you going to do a Sinead turn for us? Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. I mean, I totally was sitting there just. If we ever make a movie of my life one day, it will be the most hilarious thing. Yeah, I don't know. I guess I'll do it. Right? I'm just taking my time, like just trying to be the coolest guy because I was so embarrassed. You gotta if you're gonna be a dancer, you just gotta let it out, and you can't be embarrassed. But if your parents force you and you don't want to do it, my parents told me if I want to do anything, comedy, whatever it is, you gotta learn to sing and dance, which is what Attell and a lot of those guys that I started with always liked about me, because I came from the old school of like, no, if you're going to be an act, you got to learn to sing and dance and do it all and act. And they never came from that thing. They just wanted to do comedy. But I came from the old school way of like, this is what you have to do. Otherwise, you're not going to make it in show business. Can you imagine? Well, you have to learn to sing and dance. Why? But when you look at those old musicals and, or those old movies, even Clark Gable had to sing and dance in one movie. They just made you. Our perfect example is, I think it's Peter Lawford. And he's in this, I think we talked about this. He's in this movie called Good News. And my father used to make fun of him all the time. He's a horrible dancer, but you had no choice. He just waves his arms in the air, and we make fun of it for years. This was a Boxing Day hunt. What they do the day after Christmas, as you know, in England, it's called box. No, is that in Canada? That's in Canada and England, right?
I believe so.
I believe that's the 26th. And sorry, my sinuses are acting up. They have a hunting day, and it's just, I love all those dogs. I guess they're going to look for foxes. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Oh no, I think it's a different kind of foxes. And I love all those dogs because they remind me of the Bugs Bunny one when he pretends to be a fox. Nobody? Okay. Marcy says Boxing Day in both countries. Yes. Yeah, I know. It's an awful sport, but it's, yeah. I mean, that's why they're putting on those old costumes. This happened in Louisiana. There was a big tornado, and this would just be the worst thing that could happen to me, where everything gets destroyed except my closet with my horrible clothes, and everybody can see my awful closet of clothes. And this is clearly what happened to her. Oh, honey, I think this tornado did you a favor. It's just, that's the worst thing that could happen. But we left your closet so everyone can see from a helicopter all your flannels. It just always reminds me of this movie, The Family Guy, with Nicolas Cage, when he's living somebody else's life and he goes to the closet to get dressed. And earlier, he's really rich. He lives in the city. He's got a walk-in closet with all these beautiful suits. And then when he's this other character, he opens the closet and he just goes like this. Oh, no. Oh. That's what I do when I look in my closet every day with this poster behind it. One day I was going to take a picture, and I'm like, no, that's exactly what I don't want to do. I don't want it out there. You got that right, Catalina. I'm going full Devil Wears Prada. But what you don't know is that Oscar de la Renta did an entire thing on, God damn it, Cerulean. Thank you. Did you guys know they crowned the new Miss America?
I had no idea.
No one knew. It's so over. It was before New Year's, and Miss New York and Wisconsin went head to head, and Miss Wisconsin won, and her name is Grace Stank. I don't know.
It looks like she's throwing a punch.
Doesn't it? It totally looks like that, and she's Miss New York, so it would make a heck of a lot of sense. But right, Anonymous is the day after Christmas, yeah. But yeah, no, I know no one's watching that anymore. So but look how excited they are in the moment. Grace Stank, Miss Wisconsin, is our new Miss America. There she is. Yeah, nobody cares anymore. It's weird. I don't know what channel it was on. Reels? I feel bad. Speaking of pretty ladies, these are they're called the Crazy Ladies Group. And, I just thought it was kind of a funny picture. I mean, they are called the Crazy Ladies Group, and they are crazy. They just remind me of those women they always have on Family Guy in the accounting department, who just always laughing all the time. I can't describe it, but you're in that, Anonymous? Come on. This was in China. It was like a 200 car pileup. And it's such a silly, how could this have happened? Like, how did these cars get boxed? I mean, how I don't, it just doesn't make any sense. I don't know why. It's just the way these cars are in there. It just doesn't, it's just weird.
Well, there's probably cars that didn't get hit that stopped. Like you see him, like all those like.
I mean, this isn't Smokey and the Bandit, Mike. What is this? This is I don't know whether you guys know, but they have a this is the Mermaid Open, which was held this year in China, and this is a contestant to win the Open. I am not kidding you. It's pretty cool that she can. I'd be terrified to not be able to kick my legs underwater and get up when I need to, So you almost got to respect it. But yipes. And here's all the people at the Mermaid Open. That'd be too many people for me underwater. I'd be terrified. This is like the fucking ending of Titanic, where everybody's grabbing somebody's head to lean onto. It's terrifying. If you're all the way under here and you're not using a breathing apparatus, I would be terrified. I mean, these guys are good. I don't know how you hold your breath for that long underwater. And because remember, you got to get down there, then you got to get set, and get into it. Then you got to, spend time underwater. I suppose if you do that, you got to be able to hold your breath for at least 2 minutes, right?
Yeah.
Now, this is Mermaid School. This is no joke. For some reason, you can hire a mermaid performer for your next party. Now, I have already scheduled one for next Saturday since I'll be home. I'm going to get 3 mermaids, hopefully this one over here. And there's no party. I'm just going to have them come over because you think you can just hire them. It's going to be a little awkward when they see I don't have a pool, but I'm going to do it anyway, especially since I don't have kids. I don't think it's that much money, so why not get 3 mermaids, right? Is that weird?
I think it makes
It's a
sense.
little weird, yeah. So can you take off your towel for a little bit, or is that, or you say, take off your towel? Is that creepy? Now take off your towel.
Says it all sounds a bit fishy.
Is that better than saying take off your top? Take off your towel. Does anybody know who this is? The one on the right.
Was she in Austin Powers?
Yes, it is Elizabeth Hurley. She is 57 and absolutely gorgeous. Look at her. And she's wearing this unbelievable outfit. This was New Year's. She had a New Year's Eve party. She's gorgeous. I bring this up because we always talk about, women being gorgeous, that sometimes women don't age as gracefully, and men, and you think about this all the time. And the best part about this is you remember who she was dating, which was Hugh Grant, and yipes. This is what he used to look like. Hello.
Yeah.
This is when I was attracted to him. This is why I'm teaching a course on this. He's so handsome and charming, but yay. It's good when it happens the opposite way. So I thought I'd bring it up. This guy is a serial killer. And for some reason, he got released in Nepal. He killed 2 tourists in the 70s. His time was up. His health is I don't know what the word is. Floundering. And for some reason, not only did they release him, they let him on a plane to go to Paris. And clearly these women must know or something. I mean, what the fuck? There's they're made a I think HBO has a show called The Serpent that's based on him right now. I don't know how you're just putting him with regular people. I don't know whether this girl's seen him on TV or I mean, as if you thought this was bad. This is worse. They couldn't pin anything on him for all the murders he committed. Can you fucking imagine this guy?
Jeez.
Yeah, Jenny, she's aging so good. I mean, she's always been really pretty, but it's great and her body is amazing, and you got to work at that. And she looks. Oh, it's on Netflix, Catalina, so she knows exactly what I'm talking about. Called The Serpent. Oh, you watched it? Is it any good? I thought it was a bit boring. It sounds a little boring to me, but you know why? because they don't have this scene on it. Where they're like, oh, we have a serial killer joining us today. And then he's sitting in row. That's where she finds out, like through the announcement. Oh, I hope nobody was flying Southwest. What a horrible airline. They're the worst. God. I mean, oh, God. Can you imagine those poor people? It reminded me of COVID first when everybody was saying, hey, don't come to work today. And then people are saying, this was in March, and people are saying, I heard this might last till July. And you're like, what? And this is like what happened with Southwest. It's the day after Christmas. Like, I think we can get you home by Thursday. Yeah, he gets to fly to Paris, but you can't fly to New York, Catalina. Exactly. You just need to murder some people, I guess. That's all. And don't get caught. Or don't make sure there's no witnesses, apparently.
Get away
what
with
the
it.
Fuck? You know what this is?
It's a frozen orange?
Yes. So you know what the next picture is?
Yes.
What is it?
You just show it. I know what it is.
The cold winter hasn't affected the orange harvest. You got that right. A little trading places action. I'm a little nervous because it looks like the cold winter might affect the harvest. And then what are we going to do? Frozen concentrated orange juice. I usually buy some stock on that around this time of the year. That and pork bellies. Everybody knows that. Pork bellies. I've got a feeling about pork bellies. It's January 3rd. It's the day after they released the crop report today. So it made sense to, no can do on either releasing the crop report that day. What does some silly crop reports have to do with my engagement party? These are some penguins in Antarctica. Where's the snow? I put that in because I was watching the Muppets Take Manhattan 2 days ago. I hadn't seen it in a long time. And you know how they have the rats in the kitchen? And the guy who's hiring everybody, he's like, now I've got the rats, I got frogs, chickens, and then the penguins come in. They're like, hey, can we get work? And they're like, get out. That movie is awesome.
It is.
I just watched it the other day, and I hadn't seen it in a long time. And I'm sitting there watching. I'm like, this is goddamn brilliant. That Jim Henson was something else. Life's like a movie. Write your own ending. Keep believing. Keep pretending. We set out what we intended to do. Just like the lovers. The and you. That's from the original Muppet movie, right, Anonymous?
Yes.
And this is Mr. Potato Head. For some reason, at the Port of San Diego Holiday Bowl parade. These stupid bowl games with their names. This is my favorite thing to do. Now it's called the San Diego. No. Yes, it's called the San Diego County Credit Union Holiday Bowl. And that's previous from when it was called the Thrifty Car Rental Holiday Bowl. And before that, the Culligan Holiday Bowl. Before that, the Bridgepoint Education Holiday Bowl. And they changed these names to the stupidest names. But why they have a float of Mr. Potato Head, I have no idea. I was wondering if anybody know what the San Diego County Credit Union has to do with Mr. Potato Head. Now, Mike, do you know what the next picture I'm going to show is? And it's not Don Rickles.
Oh, then I'm not sure.
What if I said it like this? Mr. Potato Head, Mr. Potato Head, back doors are not a secret. Well, it's from War Games. Mr. Potato Head. Here, let me see that. Oh, you're in trouble, Lightman. Mr. Potato Head. Do you remember when I told you? Remember when you told me to tell you when you were being rude and obnoxious? You're doing it right now. This guy was a genius, and let alone this guy was a comic genius for sure. Eddie Deason.
Yeah.
But this guy was even funnier. Do you remember when you told me to tell you? Jenny Cohn, Rachel told a story on Instagram Live about, was that when we were on together and I couldn't get on because I was an old man and I couldn't figure out how to go on live? It was so embarrassing. Yeah, Rachel's pretty funny. When did we just hang out? Last week. We had a great time. Oh, that's the other. Oh, that's it, I guess. That's the whole show for today. Oh, perfect timing. 7:00.
Yay!
That's right, Anonymous. Rachel always calls me a fool. Shut up, fool. Well, that was a fun day back. I'm really glad our first day back was a lot of laughs. I didn't promote the show or anything this week because I wasn't exactly ready. Next week, we'll be ready. I may be back in the studio again. Don't know. We'll see whatever Mike says. He always works it, whatever his story is. So who knows? But we'll definitely be here. That's for sure. For the rest of the season, we'll figure out what's going on with football and everything, and we'll be going into the. I missed you too, Liz. A Bit of the Fool Gets Called a Fool by Rachel Feinstein. Yes, Aunt Judy, you stay healthy too, please. Have a great year. So yeah, don't know who's going to be our guest next week, but I think we might have one if we are in studio. But if we don't, we're good like this. We enjoy this. So if you're listening to Billy Joel A to Z, we're back today with a song called Through the Long Night, which ironically is on Glass Houses. I say ironically because I'm like, I don't remember that song at all. And it doesn't belong on Glass Houses, but it's a good song. Sounds just like a Beatles song. And it's kind of in my head this week. Something I never heard of it before. I don't think I ever heard it before, but I haven't heard a lot of songs before. So if you are listening to Billy Joel A to Z, listen to that this week. And Mike, where are you going to be performing?
I don't. I'll be at the Plano House of Comedy at the end of the month. I think I have some show like spots in New York randomly. I don't
Wait,
even know
where's
what
the
area.
Plato House of Comedy?
Oh, it's outside Dallas. It's part of Dallas, basically.
Dave, when is school? School for me starts in 2 weeks. Yeah, we could have Colin on again, Liz. That's true. Boy,
Yeah.
that's always fun.
But I'll be there with Rich Boss, and then yeah, just follow me at Mike V. Suarez on Instagram, and then the Retrospective Promenade podcast where we watch movies. And
what are you watching this week?
Last Thursday we did Atonement, and this Thursday is when the Remo Williams episode comes out.
And that's a coincidence, right?
We had recorded it earlier than we had talked about it.
And then all of a sudden I brought it up. That's so weird.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what's weird, Mike. I've never seen Atonement. So
and I did watch Vengeance this last couple of weeks, Anonymous. You keep asking me to watch that.
So I guess I need to see it. Is it good, Mike?
Which one?
Atonement?
Atonement was decent. I would listen to us talk about it if you don't want to watch it.
I don't know whether some of you remembered about 2 years ago, I asked this girl to marry me, and then she died because she hit her head and died. It's not that. It's a little sad, but it's not that sad. She was a little drunk, so who knows how far our marriage would have lasted. But I remember years ago, I was taking her in my car, and I have a DVD player in my front seat of the car, so I can watch movies while I'm driving. This is probably before texting and stuff and cell phones too. So I have a whole bunch of DVDs in my car because I was, watching. So I said, "Hey, Trish, we're going to go to Atlantic City, so let's get a movie, or we're driving somewhere. What's your favorite movie? I'll get it for you." She said, "Atonement."
Wow.
I said, "It is? I've never heard of that before." And of course, I don't like it because it just sounds like Yom Kippur. So it just sounded like a horrible movie to me, but I can't believe that was her. I never saw that coming. Atonement. That was quite interesting. So you've seen it before then, obviously, Mike.
That was my first time watching it was for this podcast.
Who chose it? Why did you even think about it? It's a very old movie, right? Isn't it 20 years old?
I don't remember how old it is, but she, the girl on the podcast picked it. It's from 2007.
Seems like it's a more of a female movie that women seem to like it a lot.
Yeah. Apparently, it was one of her favorite movies. So when I made fun of it, it was not always.
Anonymous says it's one of her favorite books, and it's a great movie. So the beach scene in the film is one of the best scenes. That's what it says.
Yeah, I liken Cumberpatch's character to Matthew McConaughey in Days of Confused. So That kind of made her mad.
It's not a comedy, right?
Oh no, it's not a comedy at all. It's very depressing.
Yeah. Catalina says I would love it. I don't know. All right, I'll check
it.
Listen,
movie. It is a very good movie.
This is The Class. When I start this class in a couple of weeks, the first day we're going to go around, see what everybody's favorite movie is, and then I'm going to ask them why. And I'm sure there'll be a whole bunch of movies I haven't seen. So this girl I tried it out with, who's my friend Teethy, who sometimes comes on the podcast, she told me her favorite movie was, I think she said Insurrection. Is that? No. Now I can't remember. It's a space movie where they go to Mars, I think.
Oh, Interstellar.
That's what it was. And now I need to watch that, apparently. So I like that. I like hearing people's like, oh, you got to watch it and let me know. And now I'm going to watch Atonement. I have it in my car. I'll go get it on Thursday. And well, wait, what am I going to play it on? Oh, there's got to be another way to watch it, right?
Yeah, it's streaming, I think.
Right. Yeah, that's the problem is that when I'm teaching the class, I was just like, oh, I want to get some clips. And I'm like, wait, how do you do that? I don't have a DVD player. What am I going to do? But I got it all worked out. Anyway, everybody, happy birthday, Marcy. Great to see everybody. Happy New Year to everybody. And this has just been a lot of fun today.
Yep.
And Mike, Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year to you guys.
And this is the Comedy Cellar Nightly Show. Please remember, if you are in New York City or Las Vegas, to come down to the Comedy Cellar if you want to see comedy. God, my cousins called me the other day. They're like, what comedy show do you recommend? And I'm like, why are you even asking that question? I only recommend one place. And then they ended up going to the Grizzly Pear because it was sold out. And that's what happens. That's how the Grizzly Pear gets people. The Comedy Cellar sold out. They got 2 other comedy clubs down there because it's sold out. Make a reservation. Don't fool around. Right?
Yep.
Yeah. So Happy New Year, everybody. And we will see you here next week on the Comedy Cellar Nightly Show with me and Mike. We'll see you next time, everybody. Great to see everybody. Happy New Year.